Hey, it's Josh Vergara from Android Authority. What's going on, everybody? And every photo and video that you're seeing in this feature focus was taken on the OnePlus One. All right, and let's go ahead and just get right into it. What we're working with here is the 13 megapixel Sony Exmor IMX214 sensor that provides a f2.0 aperture, and you're going to be seeing that kind of coming into play in some of the pictures here. But I was out in Venice Beach just taking pictures of the wonderful scenery around there, and you're going to see, well, a lot of people walking around, but also the palm trees and the sands. It was just a beautiful day out in Southern California that I was able to use the OnePlus One in order to capture. What we're going to be seeing also are the 100 crops for here, and let me just say right off the bat that I was actually really impressed with the detail that is in all of these photos, especially when in broad daylight. You can really see how the noise level is at a very acceptable level, to the point where it almost doesn't seem there at first glance, and that's a real achievement of the OnePlus One in terms of its camera. And as you can see, the color reproduction is actually quite good. You don't really see too many blown out images in terms of just the sheer brightness that was coming with the sun bearing down on the beach. But also, this is pretty much what everything looked like. There's a little bit of saturation in terms of the coloration, but there really isn't so much that it looks fake. And as you can see here, the detail in this bike right here is actually really great, and it really does justice to the scene. Let's talk settings for a quick minute. All of the photos that you're seeing on here were taken at the full auto setting. Now, the camera app provided by CyanogenMod 11S does give you quite a bit of freedom to tweak the settings of your photos and video captures, but you are also able to cater your quick menu swiping up and down in order to get to the settings you want to use the most. However, in this case, I wanted to cater basically to the general user that will probably leave the camera on full auto and just start snapping away. And I think the results really speak for themselves. These 13 megapixel 4x3 photos all have great detail, at least so far, and we're going to take a look at some low light shots a little bit later. But for the most part, you're going to have a great time just capturing the moment, especially in broad daylight photos like these, and you'll be really happy with a lot of the photos that you get out of it. And putting a little bit of effort into just the composition of your photo and whatnot will really give you an even better experience because the power is already there. And as you can see here, the detail is great. You can see people behind me are actually really clear also in that 100 crop, and the 100 crops continue to show that the detail is still there. Now, talking about video, the intro video was taken at 1080p on the front-facing camera, and the rest of the videos that you're seeing in this feature focus camera shootout were taken at 4K, as I'm always going to do the 4K to really show you what it can do using obviously the rear-facing camera. But one thing you'll notice on the videos is that it sounds like only the left channel is capturing the audio, and that is true. For the life of me, I can't really figure out why, but every video that I've taken with the OnePlus One only has really the left channel available in terms of the audio. So it's a bit of a bummer there, and the audio is decent, but it's only the left channel, which is something we still have to figure out. But real quick, I did want to just try to do some quick capture. There's just a cute little dog right here. You can see that the shutter speed is maybe not fast enough to be able to capture motion so quickly. And again, this is on the auto, so whether or not it was using a sports mode is unclear here. But basically, I was trying to just capture the dog, and it was a little bit tough until I finally got him to just stand still, and then I got a decent photo of him. But it is still a little bit blurry because we were moving around so much. Low light test? Well, the night before I went to a Childish Gambino concert, and I thought what better place to test out what a low light situation would be like. I imagine if a lot of people are going to be buying this phone, they'll be using it in a bunch of different situations, and going to concerts and trying to capture that moment is definitely on that list. The low light capabilities on here are pretty decent, and I'll show you a better example a little bit later, but in these there is a higher level of noise, which is to be expected, but it does perform pretty decently, if not perfectly clearly, in capturing Gambino. So for more low light shots, I was able to get a LA street dog right after the show, which you should if you ever go to LA and watch a show or go to a concert. But you can see here that the level of grain is kind of shooting up because of the low light. The detail is not quite there. And then I took a few last shots back home. Here's an indoor shot showing my post-its. And when I zoom in, yes, you can still make out what the details are, but they are just really fuzzy. And finally, here's a picture of Dr. Oid. Essentially, the low light capabilities of the phone, or the camera rather, are really decent, but you're not going to be getting too many great photos from it, and you might use the flash more often than not. But in the end, it is pretty decent, but that's the most that I can say about its low light capabilities. And so there you have it for this camera shootout using the cameras of the OnePlus One. More often than not, I enjoyed the pictures that came out of this camera, and even without the $299 price point, I would have been happy with that. But then, when you think about that super affordable price point, you realize that this phone really packs a wallop, and the camera is certainly a part of that. After that, when it comes to video, you can click the video on the left here that you're already looking at in order to link straight to the 4K video sample that I have already uploaded, and you can see what the video quality is like for yourself. As far as the audio goes, yes, only the left channel was recorded, but I have a feeling that this is just one of those kinks that they'll figure out before the actual general release later on. It might have just been my unit, and I really think that that's the case. But until such time, keep it tuned to Android Authority for all of the coverage of the OnePlus One, including my full review, which is coming soon. And after that, you can hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and then head on over to androidauthority.com, because we are your source for all things Android.